Here's the treadmill comparison video that so many people keep asking for. I am going to share the pros and the cons and answer the questions that I get asked the most because this is a big purchase and I want you to decide which one is best for you. Since they are the same brand, they have a lot of similarities, but there are some big differences. I'll refer to the left one as treadmill number 1 and the right one as treadmill number 2. So treadmill number 1 has the beautiful wood design on the top and the sides. Treadmill number 2 has it on just the sides because there is that protective plastic layer on the top. That's because it goes a lot faster, which we will get into in a second. But both have the beautiful wooden frame, which I love. It's so aesthetically pleasing. And the actual size of what you are running on or walking on is the same, which is super important. Get one that's large enough so you don't trip. This is how you operate treadmill number 1. It does have a wrist strap, but you need this remote and there's really nowhere to store it. It hasn't been an issue for me over the past year and a half, but treadmill number 2 actually has a placeholder for the remote and you actually have another way to operate it, which I'll show you in a minute, but that's just super convenient. They both do have wheels, so you can roll them under a bed or in a closet or wherever to store them away. However, treadmill 1 is only 55 pounds as opposed to 77 pounds, so treadmill 1 is a little easier to roll, but they're both doable. This one might not be as important, but the plug-in for treadmill number 2 is actually on the side. So if you have a desk that does not have a lot of room, like I have a 40-inch desk, it barely fits, so that is something to be mindful about. And then treadmill number 1 has it on the top, which you don't want to be that close to the wall regardless, so I prefer treadmill number 1's placement, but it's really not that big of a deal either way. Just something to think about. Treadmill number 1 goes up to 6 kilometers per hour, and this is how loud it sounds whenever it's going 3 kilometers per hour. It is so quiet and it still has 2.25 horsepower, which is incredible. You can totally jog on this. Now this one goes up to 7.5 miles per hour and you do have to make sure that this little red thing is plugged in for safety reasons. And when I turn it up to 3 miles per hour, this is how loud it sounds. It's still super quiet despite having 3 horsepower, which is slightly more powerful than treadmill number 1. And the display does look a little different on this one than it does on treadmill number 1. Now, the thing that makes this treadmill number 2 so amazing is the adjustable handlebars. So all you have to do is turn the sides and then you can literally pull up and adjust it to whatever height you want. There's also a phone holder if you want that. And this is a second way to operate it. Without needing the remote, you can actually use the control panel on the handlebars to operate this and change the speed and start it and stop it. So it has way more benefits. I like to use this when I'm not at a standing desk. Like I've brought this in and watched TV while walking and working out on it. It's just super convenient and feels a lot more sturdy and safe. But if I'm just working at my computer, treadmill number 1 is perfectly fine for that. But if I want to do more, treadmill number 2 is way more convenient and worth the investment. Last thing I'll say is both hold up to 265 pounds and they're such high quality. I have again been using treadmill number 1 for over a year, so I can vouch for it. I love treadmill number 2. My husband uses it every day when he works from home, and we are just so grateful for this brand.